I don't know what to do, Bill. I've been applying for jobs that are well below my skill level and pay grade, and still nothing's coming up.
Sorry to hear that, Mark, but I have a proposal that is meant to address just that problem. A jobs guarantee program by the government.
What's a jobs guarantee?
The idea is simple. Basically, the government will act as an employer of last resort to provide jobs for all people who are willing and able to work so that they can earn an income while trying to find private sector employment.
I don't know much about economics or economic policy, but that sure sounds good to me. Well, I do know a lot about the economy, and I know that jobs guarantee idea is nothing more than a fairy tale.
Why is that?
Well, for starters, providing work for millions of people isn't as simple as just snapping your fingers. The money has to come from somewhere, and how exactly do you plan to pay for it? I'm not giving the government any more money than I already have to.
That's an easy one. The government could just use deficit spending to...
Oh, no. The government's in enough debt as it is.
Oh, hold your horses, bud. In the modern economy, a government deficit isn't as bad as it may sound. Think about it this way. Where do US dollars even come from? That's right. All US dollars originate from the US government. Money is just a record of account within an economy. It keeps score in the economy of who has what. And just like in a game of basketball, the school board can never run out of points.
So what's the point of the government selling bonds if it's not to finance government spending?
Borrowing plays a role in allowing the government to hit its target interest rates. Borrowing is a monetary tool, not a fiscal.
Okay, you guys are starting to kind of go over my head here. What does this have to do with the jobs guarantee again?
You see, Mark, a government that controls its own money can always afford to buy anything priced in its own currency that someone is willing to sell. There are no fiscal constraints. Are you willing to sell your labor to the US government in exchange for US dollars?
Yeah, that's the whole point, right?
Then the US government can afford to buy your labor.
Woohoo! I still don't think the government can afford it.
Well, even though we just proved to you it can, think about this. Anyone who is unemployed represents a loss of demand and productivity in the economy. Bringing their demand back can create enough economic activity on its own to pay for the entire program.
That sounds great to me, but what about things like health insurance? And who would take care of my kids?
Part of the jobs guarantee could be a benefits package, including all of those things. All these benefits are something the government already pays for, either through direct benefit transfers or in societal costs through lost GDP growth. A jobs guarantee program just takes those costs and directs the method of paying for them into a more productive form.
That's all I'm really asking for, is work. I don't need handouts. Plus, after I was out of work for about 6 months, nobody wanted to hire me.
Exactly. The longer people are out of work, the harder it is to get back into work. Unemployment causes human capital to depreciate just like any other resource. When employers try to hire after an economic downturn, many of the unemployed have become, well, unemployable. A jobs guarantee would help prevent this.
Well, that sounds good and all, but I've got one word for you: inflation. All this extra government spending and money floating around is just going to cause inflation, and any wage earned by this so-called buffer stock of labor is going to be worthless. You need unemployment in order to keep inflation under control. What? You mean the fact that I can't find a job is necessary to help control prices? Is that true?
That is certainly what the Fed thinks.
That doesn't seem fair.
Not only that, but there is little evidence of accelerating inflation occurring during times of low unemployment if you look at the actual data. Plus, a jobs guarantee program would be designed in such a way that it would never cause demand pull inflation.
What is demand pull inflation?
That is when wages provide consumers with more money to buy goods and services than producers can provide.
Hey, that sounds great. I haven't had enough money to buy all the things I've needed for years.
Exactly. The unemployed represent the full capacity of our current economy. Most of the time, the economy is operating well below capacity. Once every person who wants a job has one, the spending goes no higher. Therefore, demand will never be induced beyond full employment by government spending.
Yes, but what happens when the private sector wants to hire back those workers?
That is a good thing. As the private sector pulls employees from the Jobs Guarantee program, it automatically reduces the government spending. The program acts as a countercyclical weight to stabilize the economy and prices.
That sounds like a safety net not only for the worker, but also for employers who will have a pool of employable workers to draw from. I guess I can see how that could work. But tell me this, won't this new de facto minimum wage and benefits package cause the cost of private sector employment to increase?
Yes, that's very likely.
That excess production cost will just be passed on to the consumer and cause a cycle of increasing inflation.
It is true that there could be an initial one-time price adjustment in the economy after a program like this is implemented if the jobs program has a significantly higher wage than existing average wages. But this can be avoided, however, if the program starts closer to the existing minimum wage. In that case, there's no reason to believe it would cause accelerating inflation.
Well, it seems like you thought of everything. I guess this does sound like a pretty good idea. Great. Where do I sign up?